The boy who was a servant only watched the master practice every day, yet he found flaws in the finest swordsmanship of the martial world. Even by simply simulating in his mind, he mastered the sword techniques with ease. He even improved the fifth move, unleashing greater power. All of this was because he possessed an unmatched talent for swordsmanship. But despite his extraordinary gift, he was still bullied by the young masters of the clan. Just as he fell into despair, another young master, also abandoned by the family, saved him. The two of them shared the same astonishing talent, but neither was liked. The clan they belonged to was none other than the Snow family, honored as the first in Gansu. I was an abandoned child, left at the Snow family's gate since birth. Because of this, I grew up immersed in the family swordsmanship, memorizing every move. But gradually I realized something. The head of the Snow family was a foolish man. Not only did he treat his talented eldest son as worthless, he blindly trusted the new wife he married. Even the sword techniques he practiced daily in the training ground were full of flaws in my eyes. Suddenly, a loud shout broke my thoughts. "You lowly servant, what are you doing here again? Watching others practice every day, do you even understand it?" I quickly lowered my head and admitted fault, saying, "Master, your swordplay is too handsome, I couldn't help but watch." Then I quickly ran off to Grandpa Huang, who raised me. But deep down, I still looked down on this clan leader, believing he was a fool. There was another reason as well. In his first marriage, it was said he treated his wife poorly. From the stories told by other servants, I learned how great the lady truly was. Whenever they disagreed on crucial matters, the lady's judgment was always right. So everyone in the clan followed her. But the master grew jealous, becoming colder and colder toward her, until eventually his indifference spread to their children. Even at the moment of her death, it never changed. He abandoned a happy family and lost a wise wife. That is why I believed he was a truly foolish man. But as a servant, this was not my concern. My job was running errands. At the market, I saw street children stealing buns in the crowd. If unlucky, the ones caught could be beaten to death. But I was different. I could observe my surroundings, avoid danger, and steal food without being noticed. So naturally, the orphan children in town followed me. My special ability kept them from going hungry. One day, as usual, I happily brought them food, not knowing disaster awaited me. The next moment, a hand grabbed Cold Leaf tightly from behind. "Put down what you're holding." Turning back, I saw it was the young master. He listed my crimes: Mr. Hong's dumplings, buns from the stall by the alley, Mr. Yu's rice cakes. "When did you start stealing like this?" I was shocked. Not only did he catch me, but he knew exactly where I stole from. Yet I had never once seen the young master at the market. "It was only this time," I said, but before I could finish, the young master suddenly kicked me. "Do you still plan to lie?" I could only tremble on the ground, completely unprepared. Before him, it seemed nothing about me could be hidden, and I couldn't escape his grasp. What terrified me most was not the slaps, but the fact that someone could truly see through me. Yet he didn't keep beating me. Instead, he lectured me. Stealing once out of hunger is understandable. But if you steal every time, you'll be nothing but a thief your whole life. How filthy and shameful that is. He continued, "Under the pine tree at our front gate, there is a hole. I will put a purse there every day. Use it to buy food. But in return, if you steal again, I won't forgive you." With that, he turned and left, leaving me in the cold wind. Never again would I feel joy in stealing. Not only did he know my actions, he even remembered every place the stolen food came from. The great young master, Sky Snow, was the most terrifying and most respected person I had ever known. Yet the clan leader, South Snow, never acknowledged his son's qualities. He was too captivated by his new wife, played with at will. And that wife was the eldest daughter of the Chu family of Gansu, Three Beauty Chu, a clever woman who married into the leading Snow family only for power. She often sowed discord between master and young master, and the result was always the same. The master favored Three Beauty Chu and punished his son. I was angry and confused. Why did he silently endure such unfairness? With his ability, he could have ended it all with one strike. Not long after, one morning, the whole Snow family was startled by a furious voice. We saw the young master, Sky Snow, kneeling on the ground, accused harshly. "You bastard! Do you know why I called you here? Don't deny it. The Earth Chi I recently signed for is missing. You really don't know where it is." The young master looked helpless. "Yes, I don't know." The words had barely left his mouth when the master stomped in anger. So the Earth Chi vanished into thin air. "You truly know nothing." At that moment, Three Beauty Chu added fuel to the fire. "I'm not sure, but I've noticed the young master has been visiting the slums often. I fear he's learning bad habits from the children there. I'm just a little worried." She glanced provocatively at the kneeling young master. He replied, "So this time, you want to frame me as a thief?" Then, the second daughter of Three Beauty Chu, Crystal Snow, spoke unnaturally. "Right, I remembered. Yesterday I helped a servant fetch clothes from elder brother's room, and I saw something like a scroll. The young master, helpless, thought to himself, if I'm falsely accused here, all my efforts will be wasted, for I must keep my promise to grandmother. But faced with such nonsense, he grew angry and asked, the second daughter of the Snow family helping a servant? Truly unheard of. How kind-hearted. Father, can you not even see through such a fragile trick? Crystal Snow instantly panicked, her eyes unsteady. It's true, you didn't know because you were in the slums. Actually, Eagle Snow is ruthless, whipping servants every day. Hearing this, South Snow clenched his teeth and immediately sent people to search the young master's room. Soon, just as Eagle Snow had said, a scroll was found. I knew it. I saw it in his eyes. The young master's face darkened as he awaited punishment. The master slowly opened the scroll, and in the next moment was dumbfounded. What is this nonsense? The young master looked puzzled. This isn't Earth Chi, it's just graffiti. In truth, yesterday afternoon Cold Leaf had seen the second daughter of Three Beauty Chew sneaking into the young master's room, glancing around like a thief. Cold Leaf instantly realized her scheme and went to investigate. Since ancient times, family power struggles were always filled with such petty tricks. It was clear now, a true contest between Three Beauty Chew and the young master had begun. Following the footprint she left, Cold Leaf found the hidden Earth Chi inside a cabinet. In that instant, Cold Leaf understood. They planned to exaggerate and blame the missing Earth Chi on the young master. If that scroll had been discovered in his room, everything would have fallen apart. He would be accused of the heavy crime of seizing Green Swallow's family property. This suited Grace Chew's intentions perfectly. Although the young master brought me shame and pain, from that day on he never broke his promise to revive the children. I once thought he was a hypocrite, only putting up an image before others, and that he would stop after giving me a few coins. Unexpectedly, whether it was windy or snowy, he still insisted on throwing money into the hole every day, never once breaking a promise. He truly was a worthy heir of a noble family. Yet such righteous virtue could not stop Grace Chew's little tricks. I couldn't let the expected show end before it even began. To make a battle interesting, both sides must be evenly matched. You thought I would just stand by and watch this happen? It was not because I was touched by the young master's kindness, but because I respected his outstanding talent and integrity. It was because he showed mercy to the hungry children. Then Ethan replaced the scroll with his doodle drawing. The doodle shocked Sky Lingyun, who glanced at it in disbelief. This was absurd, but this was definitely the first event of the 6. It had to be that child's doing. Sky Lingyun immediately thought of Ethan and finally sighed in relief, boldly admitting it was my drawing. I hid it in the closet because I was ashamed of my sketch. Is there a problem? The two of them were instantly speechless. Ethan, peeking from the tree, was also stunned by his sharp gaze. He figured out it was me so quickly. He truly was a terrifying man. Kneeling all along, Sky Lingyun now found his confidence again. Father, may I go back now? Sky River felt extremely embarrassed and of course allowed it. You may go back. Beside them, Sky Crystal still wanted to argue, but was stopped by Grace Chew. Stop right here. Thus the chivalrous theft incident came to an end. Who could have thought the culprit was just a running servant, Ethan? Every day he still went to fetch the wallet as usual. How much longer must I be manipulated by others? Just as Ethan was troubled, so it was you. A graceful young girl smiled at the young lady. This girl was none other than the young master's younger sister, Sky Frost. Did I scare you? I'm sorry. No, young lady. Why are you here so late? I heard my brother say you were providing food for the hungry children, so I came to see, Ethan. Well, I didn't even notice his sister. Sky Frost looked gloomy. Although stealing is not the right way, I think you should be proud of what you've done. I'm glad there are still people in this world who know the meaning of justice. Ethan's old face instantly turned red. And no, it's not like that. I just have a bad habit of stealing things. Even if this time I helped the young master, I was only angry because I was hit by the youngest daughter. Anyway, I'm not the good kid you think I am. After hearing this, Sky Frost only smiled faintly. But I still want to thank you. I'm glad you helped my brother. You really are a clever person. Watching her leave, Ethan sighed to himself. If it were the young master, he would definitely say I'm not clever, just a cunning bastard. He was different from the young master, able to see others' strengths and speak of their kindness. Although he was smart, he wouldn't cross the line. The scene shifted. A servant hurried into Sky Lingyun's room. Young master, your grandmother. Before the words finished, Sky Lingyun felt thunderstruck. Trembling, he went to his grandmother's room, only to see a cold body grasping his hand. His tears wouldn't stop falling as he recalled his grandmother's words. Lingyun, inner family strife will only lead to needless sacrifice. You must always protect us as the eldest son. Sky family, this was grandmother's last wish. No, grandmother, I can no longer bear what has become of the Sky family. A day later, the old lady's funeral was held in a gloomy atmosphere. Seeing the young master and young lady suffer, Ethan could hardly endure it yet was helpless. Beside him, Grandpa Yellow also felt as if his heart was being cut. Now the Sky family would fall into Grace Chew's hands. If that happened, the young master would be eliminated. But strangely, Grace Chew spared the young master, as if waiting for the right time. A month passed. Since the old lady's death, the young master often fell into deep thought. I could vaguely guess his thoughts. One night, he came under that tree, dropped the wallet, and sighed helplessly. This will be the last time. Then he turned toward the city gate. Ethan suddenly spoke, leaving without even saying goodbye. Since the young master made such a major decision, he needs a large sum of money. Take this. Sky Lingyun just silently looked at the teacher and said, I don't understand why you leave the Sky family alone. Haven't you had many chances to resist Lady Chew? You should have shown the qualities of a noble eldest son, just as you did for me. Why have you always hidden your supernatural power? Sky Lingyun only replied calmly, that was grandmother's wish. She didn't want her sons and grandsons to fight. The new wife caused her previous son's downfall. She didn't want to see such a disastrous result. But now grandmother has passed away. There is no reason to persist. Don't get me wrong, I will return. The forces targeting the Sky family are like snakes in the grass, deeply rooted around the clan. Now Grace Chew has already seized the Sky family. In the end, father will realize it, but by then it will be too late. As the eldest son of the first family of Gansu, I cannot stand by. What I must do now is grow stronger, until I can face everything. After hearing this, Ethan spoke up confidently. Indeed, even the young master thinks it's hard to grow stronger within the Sky family. Swordsmanship is full of the arrogance and dullness of the orthodox sect. Like our clan's finest white crane swordsmanship, Part 5, it should defend while striking the enemy at the same time, and for quick retreat, one could push the hips backward like this. But our clan refused to adopt this posture, thinking it indecent, unfit for proper style, thus leaving a flaw. Shouldn't you step beyond the limits of the Sky family, see more of the outside world, and learn more things? Hearing this, Sky Lingyun was startled, drawing his sword. I admit your insight, but you don't mean to insult the Sky family before me, do you? Ethan grinned, of course not. I too grew up eating the food of the Sky family. But it seems the demonic sex methods are stronger than the orthodox way. I came to bid farewell to the young master. Ethan then tossed the earth energy to Sky Lingyun. Sky Lingyun received it silently. Very well. No matter if you become righteous or demonic, please remain as you always are. If you do wrong, I will punish you. Lastly, I entrust you with something important. If Frost is in trouble, just as I helped you, please help that child. Frost is a smart child. Please pretend to be interested in her. Hearing this, Ethan's old face instantly blushed. What are you saying? When did I ever show interest in the young lady? Sky Lingyun just smiled faintly, then tossed the earth energy back to him and turned away. I hope your mischief can make this world more interesting. He left behind a lonely Ethan. In the blink of an eye, spring arrived. Ethan had always kept his promise. Silently guarding Snow Frost, Ethan, who had just returned from picking tea today, was assigned to prepare enough food because the Summer family was sending people over for a dinner celebration, and they planned to stay here for a long time. Ethan thought for a moment, realizing the Summer family wouldn't casually visit other clans. Could it be? The scene shifted to Ruby taking out a box and an invitation. Please accept it. The young master of the Summer family truly likes you. The clan is deeply concerned about your marriage. The Summer family is a strong support. For the sake of our clan's growth and strength, I believe you can understand, right, Frost? Snow Frost remained silent after hearing this. The scene shifted again to Ethan swinging a wooden stick, practicing swordsmanship, because he knew that without the young master present, they would attempt to control the Snow clan through outside forces, even treating Frost as a bargaining tool. Only by becoming stronger himself could he protect Snow. Suddenly, Frost's training was interrupted by a voice. I heard you've been secretly watching my father's training every morning. A lowly sword slave dares to dream of learning our clan's swordsmanship. The next second, a stick struck Ethan's body. I'll personally teach you how to wield a sword. The two of them mocked him with their eyes, and Ethan could only grit his teeth. Suddenly, Snow Ram thrust his wooden stick fiercely upward, but Ethan simply sidestepped and easily dodged the attack. Snow Wing, seeing his brother suffer a setback, quickly grabbed Ethan's hand and forced him against his brother. Teach him a lesson. Snow Ram stood up angrily. You worthless slave. How dare you dodge my attack? Before he finished speaking, a heavy punch landed on Ethan's stomach, causing him to spit out water instantly. Snow Ram didn't relent, throwing punch after punch. Before long, Ethan was beaten all over with wounds. In that moment, he thought of the young master. If it were the young master, he would surely face me in a fair duel. Even though the gap between us is vast, I am truly weak. I can't even protect myself, yet I wish to protect the young lady. I don't want the young master to see me in this pitiful state. Would he despise me? Ethan clenched his teeth again. eyes burning with hatred. Just as murderous intent surged in his heart, a figure suddenly appeared at the doorway. Stop this at once. As the figure drew near, they realized it was Snowfrost. Young lady. The moment Ethan saw her, his heart filled with bitterness. The one I should be protecting is actually the one protecting me. Young lady, next time I will definitely. Stupid brat, what are you daydreaming about? Ethan woke up to see his grandfather and jumped in shock. Why are you injured this time? Ethan gave a brief explanation and noticed his wounds were already bandaged. He was certain that yesterday it was the young lady who had saved him and knocked him out. In truth, Snowfrost not only saved him but also treated his injuries, striking only the most critical spots. She had knocked him out just to spare him from the pain of treatment. Seeing Ethan's aggrieved expression, Grandpa Huang teased. The young lady is getting married. Are you really that sad? Was that why you fought with the second young master? Ethan immediately stood up to argue, but his wounds ached again. Look at you, so agitated, the old man chuckled. Ethan was speechless. Grandpa Ling also worried about the young lady's marriage, always guarding by the old matriarch's side. At this moment, he must be thinking of her too. Ethan bluntly pointed out Grandpa Huang's concern. What was your relationship with the old matriarch? You must also worry about the young lady marrying away. I remember you were very sad at her funeral. Isn't that similar to me protecting the young lady? The old man was taken aback by the sharp words. Soon after, Ethan confirmed that Grandpa Huang stood on the young master's side, and he told him everything that had happened in the Snow Clan so far, Ruby's schemes against the young master, the second young master's cruelty toward himself, and finally shared his suspicion. The young lady's sudden marriage. I suspect it's Ruby's plot. Unbelievable. To have fooled everyone. Grandpa Huang suddenly understood. Why are you only telling me this now? Always hiding things from the old man who raised you. You sly boy. Ethan could only smile awkwardly as his wound throbbed faintly. Next, Grandpa Huang stood up, dropped a package on the ground, and said, I heard your ribs were injured. The young lady has already helped clear your meridians. Meridian cleansing is when a martial artist uses inner energy to disperse clotted blood. Thanks to her, your injuries aren't as severe. Before finishing, the old man sat cross-legged. Now follow me. I'll teach you how to circulate your energy. Grandpa, you also practiced martial arts. But by then, the old man had already entered a meditative state, streams of energy swirling around him. We'll talk later. For now, inhale and exhale slowly. Ethan glanced at him once, then followed without further questions. Soon, Ethan entered meditation according to his grandfather's method. It was his first time trying this breathing technique, and a refreshing energy slowly flowed into his body. He could clearly feel the pain easing with each breath, his body becoming relaxed. After completing the breathing exercise, Ethan curiously asked, This is amazing. Did you create this breathing technique yourself? While wandering the mountains, I met a strange-looking old man. I shared some meat and wine with him, and in return, he gave me a book. This breathing method was from that book. Perhaps that old man was an unknown martial arts master. As soon as he finished speaking, the old man pulled out a treasured book from the cabinet. You're smart, so take a look. You'll be resting here anyway. Ethan leaned over curiously. I only read the first chapter, nothing beyond. If you're interested in martial arts, this might help you. Excited, Ethan accepted the book, wondering what kind of man that mysterious old master truly was. After that, the old man got up to leave. Where are you going? To ask for leave on your behalf. And after hearing your suspicion, I need to investigate some things. I'm glad the young master knows you. Ethan silently watched him leave. I'm glad too. Then he focused on the book in his hands. The chi of heaven and earth gave birth to life. If humans harmonize with this chi, they can control all things. No, aren't we born from our parents? How could it be heaven and earth? Such strange words. The first part of the book was written like this, then it continued with things he didn't understand, until he came upon one line that suddenly made sense. The author, someone too weak, longed for strength. To pursue power, one must give everything. Therefore, I left behind a foundational breathing technique to make people stronger. Anyone who seeks strength must train with endless effort to reach the ultimate state. Ethan followed the breathing method from the first chapter, and his pain nearly vanished. Each breath nourished his body. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, sweat dripping from his forehead. Suddenly, he collapsed to the ground. Damn it, I never thought breathing could be this hard. He suddenly realized that his body no longer hurt. Once again, he looked at the book in disbelief. This book is truly incredible. It's definitely not ordinary. Just wait and see. I'll master it. He then lay down to rest. When he opened his eyes again, a beautiful woman appeared before him. Ah. The young lady respectfully invited him inside. Young lady, this place is so shabby. Why did you come here? I was worried about your health, so I came to check on how you're doing now. I also want to apologize on behalf of my younger siblings. It's fine, you even healed me. I'm okay now. As long as no one blames me for letting the young lady enter a servant's room. Crystal Frost smiled as she looked at Ethan. It seems you care quite a lot. Since you've mostly recovered, I'm relieved. I left some medicine here. Remember to take it on time. Goodbye, and please pass my greetings to Grandpa Huang. Ethan also bowed respectfully. Yes, young lady. Afterward, he picked up the book again. I don't mind being beaten, but making the young lady worry so much about me, I must become stronger. Soon, Ethan entered a focus state. A refreshing energy slowly flowed into his body. 10 breaths. 11 breaths. 20 breaths. Slowly, he forgot the numbers as if forgetting himself, putting all his focus on breathing. After a while, the old man opened the door. Ethan, you're still not asleep so late at night? What are you doing? Grandpa, hearing it's already late at night, Ethan looked at the window in disbelief. It's night already? Wasn't it morning? Didn't you just go out? Did you hit your head too hard? It's already late at night. But if you stand up, won't you hurt your wound? Ethan had thought he had only been breathing for half an hour, but after hearing Grandpa, he realized all the pain in his ribs had vanished, and his whole body was full of strength. Seeing this, the old man called him over to sit and talk. Ethan, before you were born, in Hunan province, there were 2 clans who fought to the death for dominance. One was the Meteor sect, created by the Righteous faction. The other was White Dragon Fortress, founded by mysterious figures. But when the 2 sects truly clashed, they found that the Righteous Meteor sect was no match for White Dragon Fortress. The Righteous factions believed the Meteor sect would surely win, but the result shocked them. Strangely, after that battle, both clans mysteriously disappeared. Rumor says they merged. Recently, the descendants of White Dragon Fortress have reappeared in the martial world. That is the clan currently set to marry the young lady. They are connected somehow to Samuel Chu's family. I investigated, but the future groom's background is completely blank. But I remember the old madam once said Samuel Chu knows too much. So I've secretly been protecting the young master and young lady, watching every move around them. Saying this, he took out a bundle. This is clothing the old madam made for me when she was young. I cherished it so much that I never wore it. It's the only thing she left me. Please keep it safe for me. I, this old man, must investigate the conspiracy behind the young lady's marriage and that clan. Ethan tried to persuade him, but the old man was determined. He told Ethan to protect the young lady well. After arranging everything, Grandpa Huang left early that morning. Ethan watched his back as he left, regretting not stopping him. Now everyone is gone, only I remain. Forget protecting the young lady, she even has to protect me. At this moment, I recall the book's words. Why should one become strong? To avenge like the eldest young master? Or to protect the important ones like Grandpa Huang? It seems neither. I only wish to live a life without regrets. I am an orphan without family, a servant, yet I hope to burn brightly like fireworks, even if only once. If so, then compared to walking the righteous path, I am more suited for the demonic way. I hope the young master can understand. I don't even have the ability to protect the young lady, but with her intelligence and wisdom, I'm sure she can overcome all obstacles. You all have your own paths to walk. I too must find mine. He didn't know how much time passed until knocking broke his thoughts. Opening the door, it was Uncle Zhong Yun. Kid, you've stayed shut in so long, I thought you were dead. He then handed him some food. Oh right, Grandpa Huang said if he didn't return within 5 days, you should keep that clothing. The moment he heard this, Ethan's body shook. No, Grandpa was killed. It seems they discovered him. No wonder Zhu Yang and Zhu Ying were wandering around at home. Samuel Chu must be planning to eliminate all the young master's people during the wedding. Since I was always with Grandpa Huang, it's only a matter of time before they come for me too. I must act. He opened the bundle from Grandpa Huang and put on the clothes inside. Grandpa, I will definitely avenge you. Young master, this is the last time I can help the young lady. Though I can't do much, I should at least be able to ensure her safety. The scene shifted. Crystal Frost looked full of worry. She hadn't seen Grandpa Huang recently, and it felt like something big was about to happen. Just then, a servant brought a bundle, saying Ethan said it was for the young lady, then left immediately. After the servant left, Crystal Frost hurriedly opened the bundle. Inside, she found proof of her brother being framed, as well as a diary. Young lady, I'm sorry. I can only help you indirectly. By the time you read this diary, I've already left. Young lady, your future husband is a dangerous man whose true identity is unknown. With none of us left, I believe with your intelligence you'll know what to do. Please leave here. After settling everything, Ethan gave money to the street children one last time. Meanwhile, the servants were reporting to Samuel Chu. Clean up the bodies, don't cause trouble for the household. I didn't expect that old man to still be here. Good thing I had Zhu Yang and Zhu Ying watching. I've already eliminated all those troublesome people. Now the owner of this estate should be me, Samuel Chu. But this is only the beginning. To complete our great plan, nothing can go wrong. The scene shifted again. Ethan had been traveling for 5 days, all the while watching behind him, but noticed no one following, so he relaxed. He began meditating. His plan was to enter the remote mountains to train in seclusion, mastering the secret manual. Once finished, he would descend to find the young lady and seek revenge on the enemies who destroyed the estate. After revenge, one day he would face the young master in battle. Resting, Ethan tossed and turned, then rose and carved a wooden sword with a small knife to celebrate his newfound freedom. Once everything is done, I will travel this vast world. 2 years later, in the vast estate, the servants were sweeping fallen leaves. It's hard working so early in the morning. There's no way. The servants from the Chu family refuse to work. They're just servants but act arrogant because they come from the Chu family. Ever since the old madam passed away, the young master and young lady also disappeared. The Zhu family has been going downhill. The former glory no longer exists. Now we must look at the faces of the Chu family. Who still treats our Zhu family as the #1 clan in Gansu? I truly hope one day the young master can appear as a hero to save and rebuild the Zhu family. The scene shifts. At the foot of Demon Sky City, a young man with extraordinary bearing gazes upward with a solemn expression. Most who cultivate the demonic path easily give birth to evil thoughts while practicing. They fall into madness. They become demons who kill without blinking. Yet some people, though they practice the demonic path, uphold justice in their hearts. Relying on relentless will, they become great masters of the martial world. On today's list of the top 10 martial artists, only 2 belong to the demonic faction. Ranked first is Evil Loyal Hero. Ranked second is Righteous Demon Hero. The 2 of them stand at the peak of the martial world. Though they tower above others, they act upright and fair. And the Lord of Demon Sky City is none other than the second-ranked Righteous Demon Hero, Gale Honor. He is called a martial arts prodigy. In his youth, he was a scholar with no interest in martial arts. But his bones were extraordinary. His talent was unmatched. To spend a lifetime just reading books and playing chess would be too wasteful. So his master pleaded with him for 3 days and nights. Finally, he was persuaded to step into the martial world and became a great master. But because of this, Gale Honor was drenched in sweat. Ah, Grandpa, I won again. I won 3 times, right? According to our promise, you must continue teaching me martial arts. Gale Honor looked helpless. However, practicing martial arts is too dangerous. It's not suitable for girls. Grace pretended to cry and pout. Could it be that the second strongest in the martial world would break his word? Grandpa, you never intended to keep the promise. Influenced by Gale Honor, his family liked studying literature, not martial arts. Only his beloved granddaughter Grace longed to learn martial arts. Originally Gale Honor played chess with her to keep her away from training. Unexpectedly, her progress became rapid like a miracle. Just when Gale Honor was troubled, someone rushed to report. A young man with an extraordinary appearance wanted to challenge my lord. Gale Honor seized the chance and hurried over. It has been so long since a challenger came. I will personally accept the challenge. But I'll be right back, we'll talk later. Grace gnashed her teeth after hearing this and slipped away making excuses. Gale Honor led his people there. Are you the young man challenging Demon Sky City? What's your name? The young man humbly clasped his fists and bowed. I have no name. So you may call me Nameless. I came this time to challenge the city lord. Upon hearing this, everyone was shocked. This boy is so arrogant. He wants to challenge the city lord directly. Then the followers behind could not accept it. They shouted angrily, what do you mean? You don't even have a name. Yet you want to fight the lord of Demon Sky City? How bold and rude. Do you have a death wish? The young man once again clasped his fists. Humbly he said, I don't dare hope to fight the city lord. I only wish to receive some guidance here in Demon Sky City. Hearing this, Gale Honor's gaze sharpened. This guy deliberately said provocative words, but remained extremely humble. At first glance he was full of righteousness, yet carried a frank and bold spirit. It had been so long since he had met such a young man. Gale Honor did not accept his challenge directly. Instead he asked if he could play chess. Yes, I can play chess. Seeing this, Gale Honor turned and told him to follow. If you want to fight in Demon Sky City, you must first play chess with me. Defeat me once. Up until now, in the entire martial world, only one person has ever beaten me in chess. But even he only won by half a move. Then let's begin. This is the rule of Demon Sky City. Those who come to challenge must first go through chess. It was because too many came to challenge that Gale Honor came up with this method. On the surface, it was only chess. But in fact, it was a psychological battle. It could reveal an opponent's moves and weaknesses. It was a battle of wits. If you play well, you can seize territory. You consolidate your foundation. But one wrong step could cost the entire game. This is chess. If you only rely on brute strength, you cannot win battles. Talent and charisma alone cannot see the truth. The two of them played until late at night. The game was extremely intense. Grace walked over to watch. Are they still playing? Yes, miss. In this best of 3, my lord has won one round. This match seems very challenging for him. After such a long time, they still haven't decided the winner? Grace couldn't help but break into a sweat. That man is no ordinary person. He is a genius. Putting aside his intelligence, as time passes, anyone will make mistakes or become confused. But this young man is different. Chess also reveals a person's character and temperament. If you are clever and quick, you will play smoothly like flowing clouds. If you are upright and honest, you will play steadily like a mountain. This is chess. And this man is like a wolf defending his territory. He will never allow invading enemies to pass. How should we deal with such a strong opponent? The two of them played until deep into the night without deciding victory. Gale Honor, through the game, could see through snow-soaring cloud. Although a beast was hidden in his heart, now he was still a cub. With proper training, in 10 years he would surely become a great man. Judging from his inner strength, he practiced the righteous path. He must be a disciple of a noble clan. But why? Gale Honor grew more curious and asked, why do you want to challenge Demon Sky City? With your talent, you could easily enter a top sect to cultivate. Your strength would surely surpass what it is now. I want to do something. There are people without a master. They are waiting for me to return. There is someone very important. I couldn't bring him out of the abyss. There is also a rival worth expecting. He is waiting for me to return and fight. I once swore. I will become strong quickly. To speed up fulfilling my vow, I came here. Hearing this, Gale Honor looked at the young man with more admiration. You act without hesitation. In the future, you will certainly achieve greatness. But this is not the time for you to be distracted. Before he finished speaking, in an instant Gale Honor used just one move to change the entire situation. I thought I had forced him into a dead end. But just one moment of distraction and I became the defeated one. Truly a formidable opponent. I lost the game. Gale Honor won the match, but he knew it was only because the youth lost focus that he narrowly won. He couldn't help but grow curious about the boy before him. So he agreed to his challenge. But Gale Honor would not personally fight him. Instead, he sent out his treasured granddaughter Grace, who had been secretly observing. I lost, but I cannot break the rules. However, you may fight my granddaughter. She has just learned quite a bit of martial arts from me. What do you think? Snow-soaring Cloud glanced and nodded. But there is a condition. You must play several more games of chess with me these days. Grace immediately grew unhappy. Grandpa, you just taught me martial arts. Recently you've been making excuses not to teach me. Now you want me to fight this young man? At least these days you must teach me properly. Gale Honor had no choice but to agree to Snow-soaring Cloud. Smiling as he looked, he could tell the city lord truly disliked his granddaughter learning martial arts. A few days later, the martial arena in Demon Sky City was packed with people, all talking at once. Is it that kid? Doesn't he know his place, daring to challenge the city lord? Grace Snow slowly walked past them, noticing that even the audience had impressive strength. It seemed calm on the surface, but undercurrents of power surged restlessly, ready to erupt into chaos that could become a fierce storm at any moment. Yet as long as Gavin Crane was present, everything would remain stable. Once again she realized what a remarkable man he was, and since her opponent was his granddaughter, she absolutely could not lower her guard. Before the duel began, Grace Snow cupped her fists in respect. Young master, please guide me. I am younger and less experienced. May I attack first? Please do. Miss, you are too modest, then I won't hold back. Before the words faded, Glenn swiftly drew his sword and lunged with lightning speed. Their eyes met for a split second, his strike clean and sharp. Before she could react, Glenn seized her shoulder, spun her around in a 360-degree turn, and leapt behind her, thrusting with a sharp whistle. Grace Snow hurried to block, realizing she could not underestimate him. The next moment, she forcefully knocked his blade aside and slashed forward, her sword turning into a streak of light. Glenn staggered but cleverly dodged the fatal blow, his quick reflexes leaving her impressed. He flipped back, widening the distance, and both now measured each other again, his movements agile, timing precise, striking without warning. No wonder his grandfather valued him so much. Then Glenn gathered his inner force into his sword, releasing a strange, powerful aura. Young master, your skills are excellent. As a martial artist, it's the first time I've faced such an exciting opponent. Can you block this strike? Grace Snow steadied her focus. In the next second, Glenn leapt high, channeling surging energy as countless sword shadows formed in midair. This is the Snow Cloud sword style, created by the Snow Mountain demon, Ocean. Glenn slashed downward, countless blades raining toward her like thunder. She blocked each strike, while Gavin Crane silently observed from above, noting how quickly Lan's skills had advanced. Still, even with perfect technique, her blade was at his eyes, yet this boy did not even blink. He calmly studied her every move. His adaptability and fearless eyes were terrifying, as though piercing all illusions. Gavin thought back to when he first met him, sensing the boy had endured many hardships and gained vast real combat experience. What shocked the crowd more was Grace Snow suddenly assuming the stance of the Snowcloud sword. Glenn could hardly believe it. Grace Snow infused her inner strength into her sword, charging forward at great speed. Glenn, prepared, blocked the fierce attack, astonished that after only a few glances he had mastered such a profound style. "Young master, you've surprised me several times. But since you copied my moves, I found another opening." He leapt again, arcing gracefully through the air. "Can you block this one?" With that, he infused his blade with orange seals, lightning surging around him. This is the Phantom 7-star sword, like a dark dragon from the sea, unstoppable. The clash shook the air into violent currents. In a flash, Glenn vanished and reappeared at her side. Grace Snow gasped, "Illusion." Glenn poured endless power into his sword, their forces colliding in midair with a deafening boom. Sword aura and mist filled the arena as the crowd waited for the outcome. When the haze cleared, both blades rested at each other's throats. Glenn's grandmother broke into a cold sweat. The two saluted each other. "Young master, your performance was astonishing." "Thank you, miss. I've learned a lot from you. With so many talents in the world, meeting you opened my eyes." Gavin Crane praised them both. "It's been a long time since I've seen such a match. But young master, don't just thank her. You should bow to the masters who created the Snowcloud sword and the Phantom 7-star sword." The two old men looked dumbfounded. Lan stared in disbelief. Could it be that young master memorized both sword styles after only watching a few times? Impossible. Old Master Liam raged. "Nonsense. How could a green boy learn my decades of swordsmanship just by looking?" Yet Gavin insisted. He copied the Snowcloud sword. "A demonstration will prove it." Grace Snow fell silent. Gavin pressed sternly. "If you didn't memorize, you could never copy so flawlessly. Don't stay mute, show us clearly." Grace Snow agreed, gripping her sword. Her blade moved elegantly, sword aura flowing like a dark dragon leaping from the sea, before she calmly sheathed it. Glenn still could not believe his eyes, as the crowd gasped in shock. Unbelievable. A monster who can learn by sight alone. Grace Snow explained, "The Phantom 7-star sword is so exquisite I memorized its path. But if that counts as stealing, I'll never use it again. I refuse to walk the path of demons." Gavin pretended to be furious. "Boy, you stole their swordplay and still dare to argue? Are you too proud to be their disciple? The sword arts of the 8 guardians of Demon Sky City will only benefit you. The Phantom 7-star sword could elevate you to mastery. In truth, it was I who secretly guided you. Don't say a word, just keep listening. I've been waiting for someone like you. Do you understand what I mean?" Snow Skycloud looked at him firmly. "But I don't want someone from the demonic path to be my master." As soon as the words fell, Carter Grant clenched his teeth after hearing it. The fire of anger in his heart could no longer be suppressed. "You stubborn fool. In the end you're still so arrogant. This brat speaks well. What's wrong with being from the demonic path? Since I took a master from the demonic path, I have lived without shame. The one who made rivers of blood flow in this world wasn't me. It was those who divided the world into black and white and declared them irreconcilable. When you and I played chess, did you think you could complete the board with only white pieces?" Before his words fell, Carter Grant had already poked a small river channel with his hand. Those who want to dye the entire world into one color should be eradicated to the roots. The next second he struck Snow Skycloud hard with a palm. Instantly he was knocked back dozens of meters. Snow Skycloud was beaten with hair scattered, blood spewing from his mouth. Everyone was shocked. "Master Cheng, why did you suddenly?" Grant was also puzzled. Would he take Little Bay's words so seriously? "Grandpa, this brat insulted us, acting so arrogant and self-righteous, relying on a little talent, looking down on this world, treating us demonic people like fools. Quickly throw this unreasonable person down the mountain. If anyone dares to help him, I will never spare them." Then he left in a rage. At the foot of Demon Heaven City Mountain, the people of Demon Heaven City threw Snow Skycloud on the lawn. Alas, what a pity. Let's go back. After they left, Snow Skycloud coughed a few times and opened his eyes. He touched his chest with his hand and took out a book from his robe. It was the manual of the humorous 7-star sword, secretly slipped to him by Protector Quock. "I should call you master, but you were one step too late. The righteous knight has already told me about the surer illusion, so I can only wrong you as my second master. Finally, I know how extraordinary Demon Heaven City is. I will firmly remember your chess game, that the world cannot be dyed into one color." The scene shifted. In the deep mountains, the young Lee Frost was constantly swinging the wooden sword in his hand. Looking at the trembling wooden sword in his hand, Leaf Frost fell into thought. Why is the sword always unstable at the finishing move? After so long of training, my skills have already surpassed my master's. But I only know the white crane sword technique. Suddenly, he sensed that the white fox from last time was staring at him. Leaf Frost made strange noises to scare it. The next second the white fox glared and quickly came to his front, instantly kicking his back. It grabbed the bundle containing his meat pants. But he didn't chase. Instead, he stopped to think seriously. He noticed the white fox had short legs but ran fast. Leaf Frost discovered the trick from it. The white fox used the strength of its toes. Could it be that wielding a sword doesn't use the palm strength, but puts all the power into the fingertips? Leaf Frost tried to place the strength into his fingertips and gently swung a sword. This strike was so smooth and stable. Great! Leaf Frost was overjoyed. Seems you grasped better than the head of the first family of Gansu taught me. After comprehending, Leaf Frost returned to the cave dwelling, sitting quietly to cultivate inner strength with breathing methods. The cultivation went smoothly, but he had no techniques to use. Soon he remembered what he had learned today from the white fox. He thought again whether he could reference the movements of animals. The snake slithering on the ground, the rabbit hopping, or the fish swimming in the water. None seemed to suit me. Suddenly a butterfly flew in. Leaf Frost stared thoughtfully. He waved an arrow to drive it away. But the butterfly drew an arc, gracefully and easily dodging the attack. Waving the wooden sword again, it once again easily dodged and landed on the wooden sword, then calmly flew away. Leaf Frost looked at the fluttering butterfly in disbelief. He followed the butterfly's dance with his sword, swinging like a butterfly weaving among flowers, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes left, sometimes right, launching fierce attacks like a storm, catching opponents off guard. Most importantly, Leaf Frost infused his emotions into the sword, making every strike filled with bloody romance and sorrow. When the technique reached a certain level, wherever the sword passed, it seemed as if bloody butterflies were fluttering, beautiful yet deadly. Just like that, Leaf Frost practiced in the mountains for 2.5 years, replacing countless wooden swords in his hands. It seems it's time to descend the mountain to find a sword that suits me. I must find a flexible sword, because this set of techniques should be called the blood butterfly sword technique. A moment later, Leaf Frost had packed his bundle, ready to leave. The white fox just stared at him. Isn't it trying to learn as well? But Leaf Frost didn't stop it, generously allowing it. Thinking that I have left the Snow Clan for 3 years, I wonder how Elder and Junior are doing. I must return for revenge and also roam the entire world. The scene shifted again. At the Jincheng Escort Agency, the head escort Master Stone Pillar wore a worried face. Jincheng Escort Agency was one of the top 10 escort agencies in Henan. No matter the size or type of goods, they could be delivered safely. Their reputation and evaluations were extremely high. But one day, the entrusted goods were secretly swapped, and they were ambushed along the way. The former head escort master was severely injured and bedridden. From then on, Jincheng Escort Agency gradually declined, and their original territory was swallowed by a new power, the Azure Dragon Escort Agency. Now Jincheng Escort Agency could only barely survive. There must be some conspiracy behind this. This house has already been mortgaged. I can't just sit and wait for death. Now I must find escort masters willing to take a job to save our livelihood. Sister, don't show that expression. You're the chief now, you can't always wear a stern face, or everyone will feel uneasy. Yes, that's true. By the way, have you found anyone? Stone Merit turned his head helplessly. I did find someone, but they don't seem related. Still, finding anyone is good enough. Take me to meet them. The two soon came to the hall. There sat a burly uncle and a boy in a straw hat, sitting idly. Stone Pearl glanced them over. Just as Stone Merit said, they didn't look like escort masters. Let's test them first. But the burly uncle spoke first. I know the current situation of Jincheng Escort Agency. What is it that needs to be delivered this time? Please tell us honestly. It should be no problem. Stone Pearl fell silent after hearing, then slowly spoke. An empty carriage escort. Transporting an empty carriage with no goods. Our agency has lost credibility and reputation from being constantly intercepted. I want to rebuild the reputation of our agency, so we need one successful job. The Straw Hat Boy immediately interrupted. How effective do you think that will be? Do you think that way you can recall the people who left before the collapse, and return to the top 10 escort agencies? This person instantly saw through my intention. Stone Pearl immediately retorted. At least I can restore part of our reputation, and expose the conspiracy of Azure Dragon Escort Agency. But the boy calmly stood up. I really don't know if you're stupid or naive. I'm going out for a bit. You all keep talking. After finishing speaking, the young man left. Seeing this, Sophia Song angrily said, Hey, thank you for being willing to come, but you have no right to point fingers at us. The young man still ignored her and walked out. Suddenly, he said toward the courtyard, a total of 8 people, I know you're hiding up there, get down quickly. At this moment, the assassins hiding in the trees of the courtyard were shocked, and Uncle Vapor inside the house also noticed something unusual. For safety's sake, the head escort said, "You two should hide." The two looked confused. "What nonsense are you talking about?" "Oh no, it has already begun, I'll go out first." Then the two curiously followed out and saw 8 men in black surrounding the young man, but he remained calm. The next second, one of the men in black swiftly slashed at him. The young man swung his sword, knocking the attacker's blade away with a single strike. Then more men in black rushed in. The young man smiled slightly and blocked the attacks. Sophia Song hadn't even recovered. "What on earth is happening? Finally you came out, go to hell." The men in black saw the two of them and gave up their attack. The young man charged madly towards Sophia Song and the others. Uncle Vapor quickly drew his sword, striking down the charging man in black with one blow. "I haven't even gotten my payment yet, and the head escort is dead. This will be troublesome." A fallen assassin behind him tried to launch a sneak attack, but was instantly killed by a speeding stone. It turned out to be the young man. Slowly removing his straw hat, it was actually Ethan. "So, what do you think, can we do it?" The man had only used his self-created butterfly sword style, yet directly cut down all 8 assassins in one sweep. This even shocked the Ghost of Blades, who had long been famous in the martial world. "I have fought many battles, but this is the first time I've seen such a magnificent and powerful sword style. I believe he will soon become renowned across the martial world with this technique." After finishing off the assassins, the man slipped back inside. "I heard you talking about the Ghost of Blades," quickly changing the subject. Brotherland prepared wine. "Of course we should chat a while." At the side, Sophia Song looked at the young man before her. Although he was young, calm, and highly capable, if it were in the escort agency, then she turned to the two of them and said, "We are very grateful you were willing to step in and save our agency, but we may not be able to hire you as escorts. Although I don't know your purpose here, my goal is to rebuild the agency's prestige and establish its reputation throughout Henan. So I can only ask you, I'm willing to give you all the houses, as long as when I'm delivering escorts, you protect my family. Even if I die from an ambush on the road, I only ask you to protect my younger brother." Looking at her, Ethan finally understood why the Jincheng escort agency could still barely survive. He then directly said, "I refuse your proposal. You still don't understand. Houses are secondary. Protecting others' lives is always a losing business. I'd surely be at a disadvantage. So before we make this deal, I need you to first become a strong and powerful agency. The stronger you become, the more beneficial it is to me." Then he directly pulled out a banknote and handed it over. Sophia Song was shocked to see the silver note. It was from the Infinite Bank. An empty cart escort job ends in just a few months, but rebuilding an agency takes years, and restoring its reputation requires a base. This note is enough to redeem the house. "I don't need the house, head escort, take it or give it to your father." These words left Sophia Song both flattered and surprised. "Why are you helping us?" Ethan slowly filled his wine cup. "What I need to do will take a very long time. If your agency returns to its peak, it will be a great help to me in the future. But whether I stay here or not necessarily, I might not. Before leaving, I will always serve as an escort." Hearing this, the Ghost of Blades grew angry. "You help the head escort so much, and you are so rich, why don't you buy me a drink?" With this interruption, the atmosphere at the table immediately became lively. Looking at the two in front of him, Ethan thought, "This reminds me of young Lord and Miss Frost. I wonder what young Lord is doing now, and where Miss Frost is." The hidden hands reaching toward Jincheng escort agency and infiltrating the Zhu family are very similar. These conspiracies must gather at the same place in the end. We can't let them succeed any longer. Meanwhile, the head escort of the Chanlong escort agency, Bowen, listened to his subordinate's report. "Failed." Vice escort Leon quickly replied, "The refugees all moved to Jincheng escort agency. Many have begun showing interest there. Jincheng escort agency has built a fortress of refugees. I can't believe it. I should have taken action myself." At once, Bowen flew into a rage. "Fool, I told you to observe, not to act." Leon quickly lowered his head. "It wasn't us who acted. 2 skilled escorts appeared that day and defeated more than a dozen people in one go. I suspect they approached Jincheng escort agency for another purpose, but right now we can't gather any intel, so I thought to examine the wounds on the corpses, but they bought all the bodies." Bowen rose, deep in thought. "On the surface this has nothing to do with us. Keep action small. As long as this plan succeeds, we'll surpass Gansu Shuijia and Tuijia and secure the last seat in the alliance. This must succeed. Failure is not an option." Then Leon withdrew from the room, pondering what those experts were thinking, to actually work as escorts for such a small, nearly bankrupt agency. "I'll fight him myself one day." The next morning, the entrance of Jincheng escort agency was already crowded. Leon looked at the scene in amazement. The refugees once worried about surviving the winter now wore smiles of joy. "So it's those two at the gate. All 10 of my men died at their hands. Such formidable opponents stir my fighting spirit. If I get a chance, I must test just how strong they are." A short while later, As they walked out the door and into the back alley, Ethan suddenly stopped. Behind him, the Ghost of Blades asked suspiciously, "What's wrong? Is something happening?" Ethan whispered to the two, "Someone is following us. Today a stranger appeared at our gate. Head escort, I'll leave him to you. I'll lure this guy away." The Ghost of Blades still questioned, "You alone? You don't even have a weapon." Ethan didn't stop walking, hurrying off to the side. "That kid is too curious. He wants a one-on-one fight. If he's fighting me, he'll definitely follow me alone, and I also need to question him about something. If you follow, he won't show himself." Behind them, Leon also noticed something unusual ahead. What's going on? They suddenly split up. Weren't they supposed to protect the head escort? But since this rare chance has come, I'll see for myself what kind of expert he really is. When he reached the clearing, he was shocked to find the man had vanished. Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. "Are you from Chanlong Escort Agency?" Ethan appeared behind him, toying with a butterfly in his hand. "You people love to complicate things. Did you come here just to fight me? If so, then stop talking. Knocking someone as important as you to the ground will surely be interesting." Leon sneered, "So you're a swordsman, yet you want to fight me barehanded?" Ethan hooked his finger at him. "You don't need to worry about this. Whether you're worth my sword or not, we'll know after a fight." Hearing this, George Liang instantly flew into a rage and charged at Ethan Frost. Feeling confident, George Liang looked down on Ethan Frost, assuming he knew only a bit of swordplay and no other martial arts. But suddenly, Ethan Frost launched a heavy punch. Although the punch barely grazed him, an explosive force burst out behind, leaving George Liang stunned that such a gust could come from a fist. Before he could react, Ethan Frost's next punch was already on its way. With no time to think, George Liang quickly dodged aside. As they passed each other, a wound suddenly appeared on Ethan Frost's arm. George Liang smirked, saying he hadn't expected him to dodge. Although the boy's moves weren't yet smooth, one day he'd become a top master. Since that was the case, he had to eliminate him now. With his Ghost Eagle Claw already at 80% mastery, it was more than enough to deal with Ethan. In the next moment, he lunged with his claw hand, attacking Ethan Frost. The assassin unleashed the Ghost Shadow Claw of the Tui family, one of the 4 great clans of Gansu. Yet, within a few evasions, Ethan Frost had spotted its weakness, and after a few more dodges, he had practically learned this secret art. George Liang swung his claw hand again, aiming to cripple Ethan Frost's arm. Just as he was about to strike, Ethan ducked low to avoid a punch, then grabbed Ethan firmly with his claw hand. Realizing the danger, Ethan Frost unleashed his inner energy, forcing George Liang back, and then flashed in front of him, raining countless punches down. George Liang quickly retreated after sensing the overwhelming assault. Shocked, he realized Ethan could reflect his attacks and that his moves had become far more varied. This kid was far stronger than he had imagined, but how long could he endure? George Liang pounced again. After a while, Ethan's body bore several claw marks, yet George Liang grew more fearful. Despite so many strikes, he had failed to land a fatal blow. Watching nearby, the chief escort grew worried and wanted to help, but Blade Demon calmly said there was no need. Ethan clearly knew what he was doing. If it became truly dangerous, they could step in, but now they would only anger him. Look, he was already adapting, dodging every strike. The more they watched, the more unfathomable Ethan seemed. Blade Demon admitted he knew Ethan wasn't a bad person, but someone too outstanding in the martial world would always stir up trouble. The battle intensified. Inside, George Liang felt uneasy, as if all his attacks had been completely seen through. Meanwhile, Ethan Frost had already mastered the Ghost Shadow Claw and suddenly used it against George Liang. Caught off guard, George Liang took the blow head-on, shocked that Ethan could wield the Ghost Shadow Claw. Blade Demon, however, had seen it all along. Ethan had been imitating him, dragging the fight only to learn his style. Then Ethan picked up a wooden sword from the ground. "It's time I used a blade. I'm clearly not suited for bare fists." George Liang roared with rage and attacked again, but Ethan suddenly appeared in front of him, swinging the wooden sword upward into his chin, followed by an elegant blood butterfly dance. As the final stroke fell, George Liang crashed heavily to the ground, terrified as he looked at Ethan. "Who sent you?" Ethan lowered his head and said, "I'm not like you. I belong to no organization. I don't know who you serve, but because of you, the woman I seek dares not show herself. To find her, I must defeat your group. So next time, send someone stronger. I don't have time to waste on small fry." Hearing this, George Liang felt a surge of rage and struck as Ethan turned away, but without even looking back, Ethan swung his wooden sword and sent him flying to the ground, unsure if he lived or died. People like you, thinking the world revolves around you, unwilling to admit anyone stronger, never last. Only those who accept that there is always someone greater can truly talk about victory or defeat. Blade Demon approached, suggesting they kill George Liang, but Ethan refused. "If we kill him, his allies will vanish into hiding." Blade Demon then recalled that George Liang was a master of the Tui family of Gansu, ranked among the 100 top fighters. Ethan realized it too, the 2E family indeed. After leaving, Ethan went straight to a clinic to treat his wounds. Blade Demon remarked that Ethan's plan was clever, and now many praised the Jincheng standard. Though he had expected Ethan's victory, he was puzzled why Ethan hadn't used the butterfly sword art from the start. Ethan fell silent. I didn't have a good sword. With this one, I can't draw out the true power of the butterfly sword art. I could beat him barehanded, but there may be stronger foes ahead. Rising suddenly, Ethan declared it was time to find a proper weapon. He searched countless weapon shops but found nothing suitable, until a clothes shop caught his eye. Inside, he discovered weapons radiating with spirit. An old man emerged, asking if he had ever crafted a weapon. Only those who can hear a weapon's breath can sense the difference between them. Ethan asked if he had something flexible. The old man pulled out a soft sword. This may suit you, but careless use could harm yourself. Taking the sword, Ethan instantly felt a familiar bond. Yes, with this sword, it's possible. Meanwhile, Lily Song prepared everything and said it was time to get ready for the operation. Ethan and Blade Demon agreed. The plan was set. Blade Demon then excused himself, claiming he needed the restroom. Outside, he cursed. Every time he drank, they contacted him. 3 beggar-disguised men appeared, reporting that one person had gone to Wudang Mountain while another hadn't shown up yet, likely still on the mountain. Frustrated, Blade Demon cursed that he had been searching for 3 years. Handing them a scroll, he ordered them to deliver it to Wudang. If I'm right, that man will come at once when he sees this. The other will surely appear in Anhui province, so keep watch there. One of the men spoke up. The young man who's been with you lately, is he the one you found? He seems to be a master as well. After a moment of silence, Blade Demon said, No, the one I found was a Shaolin boxer, while this guy is a swordsman. Although it's a pity, he won't be bound like us. But don't forget, only when I join forces with 2 others can we defeat that enemy. Meanwhile, inside a grand luxurious hall, from the high seat, Charles asked, that man below, Frank, who never cries until he sees the coffin, actually gave up halfway through the mission? Down below, Thomas Tang of the Western Alliance's Black Tortoise answered immediately. It seems he faced a setback after fighting someone and chose to go into seclusion. His fingers were all split, and 4 fingernails shattered. The young man seated above the hall looked puzzled. In Henan there are such formidable masters? Unbelievable, that in such a small place, someone could defeat the men sent by the ghost camp. Frank surely won't reveal who it was, right? He's the type who, unless he defeats his opponent himself, won't let anyone else interfere. But someone who threatens the alliance cannot be left alone. Send people. This time, send the northern 3 demons together. Below, Edwin was shocked. You want to send all 3 fiends at once? The young man above laughed. One careless mistake is enough. I won't accept a second failure, Edwin. Martin hesitated. The careless mistake you mean? Was it the marriage contract with Linda Snow from Gansu? At once, the young man's face twisted. I can't stand you. But because of that, we became a laughingstock in Mong. Still, she was the first woman who taught me to act with caution. I can still remember her name clearly, Linda Frost. Edwin immediately bowed with clasped fists. I will catch that woman and make her pay. The young man turned back to glance at Edwin. Don't be careless. I trust you. Don't ruin my plan. Take care of that unknown master first. At dawn the next day, inside the Jincheng Escort Bureau, Ethan and Blade Demon were discussing the escort business when a beggar-looking man suddenly appeared behind Ethan, signaling Blade Demon. Seeing this, Blade Demon turned and left, pretending his stomach hurt. Ethan watched his odd behavior and fell into thought. After reaching a safe place, Vincent quickly said, Brother, the one you sought is on his way here, and is being chased by Black Kill assassins. Hearing this, Blade Demon was shocked. Of all assassins, why must it be the Black Kill? After waiting years, what arrives is a burden. But there's no time to think. We must save him immediately. Meanwhile, in the forest, a woman was sprinting frantically. These guys are really persistent. I shouldn't have messed with that fool. I just came down the mountain. Only 10 days ago, after coming down, she feasted in a tavern when a drunk staggered over, grabbed her sword, and said, This sword is fine. Where did a beggar like you, eating like a wolf, get such a treasure? Hearing this, the woman rose angrily. This isn't something a winesack like you can touch. The drunk drew his own sword, saying, Brat, do you want to die? Before he could react, the woman slashed, cutting off his pants. She even looked down and sneered. Something so small dares act arrogant? Humiliated in the tavern, the drunk later spent heavily to hire assassins. The woman sighed. I really stayed too long in the mountains. I lack worldly experience. I wanted to see the world more. Forget it. Better kill them than be toyed with. Suddenly, an old man carrying firewood appeared nearby. Seeing this, she shouted, Old man, stay away from me. Before she finished, the old man hurled a hidden weapon at her. Only then did she realize, he's an assassin too. But now she couldn't dodge. Suddenly, a sword flash cut the old man down, and Ethan appeared beside her. Stunned, she asked, Who are you? Before Ethan could reply, assassins rushed at them. Ethan flashed behind one and cut him in half. The two remaining turned and fled. This man is a master. He killed our leader in one strike. But the next moment, Blade Demon appeared with his broadsword, cutting one down. He then glared at Ethan. Why are you here? Ethan didn't hide. I saw you sneaking around and followed. The woman, watching the two face off, asked, Who are you? Ethan turned, not wanting to be a third wheel. You two talk, I'll check the area. After he left, Blade Demon pulled something from his chest and handed it over. You have this, right? The woman drew out an identical jade pendant. Meanwhile, Ethan chased the one assassin who escaped. The assassin flung a hairpin back, cutting Ethan's cheek, but Ethan countered and pinned him to a tree. Approaching coldly, he demanded, Where did you get these hidden weapons? That man wielded what everyone called a useless soft sword, yet single-handedly fought the feared 3 ghosts of the martial world, leaving them helpless. Even these long-dominant fiends were stunned. Such graceful swordsmanship existed, with each strike spawning blood-red butterflies that danced in the air. Without mercy, the man slashed, clearly saying, Whoever sent you underestimated me. One of the ghosts roared, smashing his weapon down. I don't need full strength to deal with a brat like you. But the man slipped past, smooth as silk. The ghosts cried out, shocked, Brat, where did you learn the ghost shadow steps? He sneered, The last assassin sent to kill me used it once. I didn't expect it to work so well against you old ghosts. Meanwhile, Blade Demon's own battle raged. Facing Crimson Rock Ghost's deadly palm, he severed it with one slash. Beside him, White Mountain's sword light swept past. Together, their flawless teamwork forced Crimson Rock Ghost into bitter regret. I never imagined Wudang, silent for years, would raise such monsters. Yet as Crimson Rock Ghost fell, another ghost grinned. Finally, your weakness. He darted at unprotected Sophie, so fast Blade Demon couldn't react. The man, realizing danger, unleashed his butterfly sword, sword light blocking the ghost from reaching her. The ghost laughed, after roaming the world for years, to be beaten by a brat like you, but I won't die so easily. He hefted his iron ball, spinning it to deflect the sword light. The man was shocked. After my strike, he's still moving? This won't end easily. Only a blow to his heart will kill him. He attacked again, surrounding the ghost in sword light. The ghost sneered. I thought you had some grand trick, but this? Yet after blocking, butterflies appeared, lengthening the sword's reach. Light flashed across the forest, severing the ghost's arm. Without hesitation, the man's next strike sliced straight past.